as I mentioned, I will record the presentation and share it with all registered participants, and I will also be sharing the slides. My name is Gabriel Gasque, and I am Head of Outreach at Protocols.io. It is a pleasure to be here. You should be able to see my screen. And before we start, I will introduce myself. I have a background in experimental neuroscience with doctoral studies and postdoctoral training. And before joining Protocols.io as head of outreach, I was a senior editor in the open access journal PLOS Biology, which is the flagship journal of the Public Library of Science. So I consider myself a scientist and an advocate for open science, experimental reproducibility, and research integrity. So what you see on the screen now is the agenda. I will speak for about 40 to 45 minutes, leaving plenty of time at the end for questions, which you can type in the chat or in the Q&A window of Zoom at any moment. And we will get to those questions at the end of my presentation. In this webinar, we will cover some of the more general points in terms of the motivations for creating Protocols.io, what our mission is, and how our platform and tools can make your work easier and faster, both in the research lab and in the classroom, as well as to increase the reproducibility both inside and outside your own laboratory. Although I will share a lot of information, we will not have the opportunity to go over all the details of the different functions and tools. For that reason, at the end of my presentation, I will share with you some resources that you can browse for more information. But let's begin with what Protocols.io is. Protocols.io is a virtual platform for the collaborative development, sharing, and publication of detailed, up-to-date, and reproducible experimental protocols before, during, and after publication of a research article. Protocols.io was created by researchers for researchers. We have collected a series of tweets that comment on the difficulties and frustrations of trying to replicate previously published experiments. As you can read, Daniel goes from reference to reference, trying to understand how the devices in a paper from 2017 were fabricated. And when he finally reaches the original publication from 2009, it simply says devices were fabricated with conventional methods. And that's all the information he gets to be able to reproduce the experiments, which obviously he can't. And this is just an example that highlights a widespread problem, which is very often the information reported or included in the materials and method sections of published articles is insufficient to allow readers to understand what was done and to reproduce the experiments. As part of the background on why we created Protocols.io, we like to talk about the Cancer Biology Reproducibility Project, which was a $1.5 million initiative coordinated by the Center for Open Science and by Science Exchange, with the goal of trying to independently replicate almost 200 experiments from about 50 high-profile papers in cancer biology. What the Reproducibility Project researchers discovered very soon after the project began is that it is very difficult to replicate previously published work. There are several reasons why this is the case, but one of them is that the original researchers didn't document in their articles with enough detail what they did and how they did it. So what you see on the screen right now is the Center for Open Science website that summarizes some of the results of the Cancer Biology Reproducibility Project. As you can see, of the 193 experiments that they tried to replicate from 53 articles, 0% of the protocols were completely described, which made it impossible to reproduce them without contacting the original authors. Furthermore, and equally striking, when researchers from the Reproducibility Project contacted the original authors, they also discovered that these did not always could tell how exactly their own experiments had been done. Therefore, the problem of lack of reproducibility goes beyond the lack of adequate reporting in published articles, but highlights deficiencies in the way researchers keep record of their own experimental protocols for housekeeping. This is caused, among other reasons, because people move from labs. Students graduate and leave, postdoctoral researchers become faculty elsewhere, and so on. And traditional paper notebooks can be damaged, easily misplaced, and lost, and are difficult to search to find the most up-to-date version of a protocol. Therefore, we thought that a cloud-based system for the proper storage and exchange of detailed experimental protocols was needed. Generally speaking, protocols.io comes in two flavors. We have on one hand a completely free open access repository which provides unlimited publishing of protocols. Each of these public protocols will receive a unique digital object identifier or DOI, making them permanent and citable. It is therefore free to create an account in protocols.io and to publish an unlimited number of protocols. Because the repository is open access, it is equally free to come and read, use, and reuse all the public content. In addition, we also have premium accounts that offer everything the free plan offers, plus an unlimited number of private protocols and workspaces, premium training, and for the institutional accounts, a free protocol import service. If you're interested, you can find more details about our plans at protocols.io/plans/academia. And I will explain later on what workspaces are and how the protocol import service works. Some of you might already have an institutional premium account if your university is a partner of protocols.io. You can check this by going to protocols.io/for-institutions, and once you are in this web page, you're going to scroll down in the menu that I am showing and look for your university or institution. But now let's discuss why it is productive, time-saving, and rewarding to create, share, and publish detailed experimental protocols, in addition to fostering reproducibility. And the key message that I want to convey is that practicing open science, including and particularly open methods, is beneficial for the practitioner as much as it is for the extended community. Let me begin by showing to you how the protocols created and published in protocols.io go beyond what a traditional static PDF offers. These protocols, the protocols created and published in the platform, are live, dynamic, and interactive, yet persistent and citable documents. To give you an example, let me open one of the protocols published in the open access repository. So because this protocol has been published, it has received a DOI, which makes it permanent and citable. The protocols are also versionable, and I can move between the different versions of this protocol. And it's very easy to create my own copy or fork to modify this protocol to fit my own needs. I can do this with any public protocol. The protocol itself is written in a detailed recipe-like step-by-step fashion. It accepts images, pictures, and videos, and it is an interactive document because any reader can come and post a comment or ask a question. And as soon as the comment is posted, the authors will receive a notification and they can come to the system and reply to that comment or question. Different sections of the protocol are coded in different colors, creating a table of content. And I can also run the protocol directly from my computer or tablet. So if I click the Run button, I can follow the experiment in the computer, marking each step as done as I move through my experiment. If I notice something unusual or I want to add a note, I can do that here. Sorry. Sorry. I can post my note or comment. And then at the end of my experiment, I can save the run as an independent document. Let me go back to my presentation. And while there's a historical bias in favor of protocols in biomedicine, the platform itself is agnostic to the subject area of research, and researchers have begun using it to develop, share, and publish protocols beyond the molecular biology lab. In this slide, I show you, for example, 3 protocols, one for archaeology, one for computational biology, and one for clinical research. And I'm just going to open one of them for you to see. So this is a protocol for archaeology. And again, as you can see, it is written in a detailed step-by-step fashion. It is supplemented with images. Different sections of the protocol are coded in different colors. It accepts comments, as I showed you before. There are several versions of this protocol, and I can run it from the computer or tablet. Now, let's discuss why we think it is rewarding to create and publish detailed experimental protocols. Not necessarily in orders of importance, but a first advantage of making your methods public is that by using specialized repositories to publish these protocols, your protocols, you are increasing the chances that they will be discovered and reused, which should lead to increased credit and recognition. And let me use an example taken here from Twitter. You can see a tweet from a researcher who was looking for a protocol for RNA extraction from primary cortical neurons in culture. Someone answered this tweet and recommended a protocol that is in protocols.io. But this protocol is actually part of a paper that was published in the journal GigaScience. Now, the paper is about a fish parasite. So the chances of researchers working on primary cortical neurons in culture, finding a paper on a fish parasite as a means of finding a protocol that would work for them seemed really slim. But because the method was published independently in a specialized repository, it made the protocol more discoverable and increased the chances of people reusing it. Protocols.io started accepting and publishing protocols back in 2014. We currently have over 130,000 registered users who have created over 14,000 public protocols and over 33,000 private protocols. The public protocols are all open access, which means they are fully searchable and free to read, use, and reuse. Last year alone, on 2022, our protocols had over 1 million readers. And once a protocol has been published, there is a tab in the document called Metrics that shows live all traffic and use of the protocol, including number of views, bookmarks, copies, comments, and citations that the protocol has received. Another reason to make your protocols public is to guarantee preservation and to facilitate seamless continuity of the work inside your lab. As we all know, a large fraction of a lab personnel is floating. Students graduate and leave, postdoctoral researchers become faculty elsewhere, and so on. Publishing your protocols makes them persistent, citable objects that will be permanently stored in your workspace as well as in the open access repository. And I should mention that all private and public content in protocols.io is mirrored and backed up in clocks, GitHub, and the Internet Archive, and that the CCI has a code escrow of the platform. And public sharing of protocols also increases the chances of establishing collaborations, as we have seen cases where researchers report that this is the case. And I would like now to show you how the comment functionality of the platform allows an open, scholarly, and productive discussion between all parties interested in a particular protocol or method. In this specific case, this public protocol has received 10 comments. Because it's public, anyone can come and read the comments. And you can see here the open, scholarly discussion between readers, users of the protocol, and the authors. And this conversation, you can see, could naturally lead to collaborations. And managing and publishing your protocols should also simplify your work down the road when the time of submitting and publishing a paper comes. Let me use another example from Twitter. We have here Professor Kipnis at the Washington University in the US tweeting saying, "What if labs publish each of their unique methods or protocols, and in future papers, instead of rewriting the protocols, we just cite them? We waste so much time on methods by saying the same thing differently." And that is exactly what protocols.io is about. You can publish your protocols in the open access repository, obtain DOIs, and cite these protocols in your paper or papers over and over again, so you never have to write detailed methods sections again. And this is exactly what the authors of this PLOS Biology paper did. They created, deposited, and published their protocols in protocols.io, obtaining a citable DOI, which they included in the materials and methods section, replacing most of the writing. The reader, by following the link, has access to the detailed step-by-step protocol in protocols.io. And a really nice thing about how protocols.io works is that the protocols are versionable, as I showed you before. So if the authors have updated their protocol since the time of publication, the reader will be notified that there is a new version and can choose to read the protocol as it was published, which is the one that we see on the screen now, or by following the View the Newer Version link, have access to the updated version of the same protocol. And as a bonus, by practicing open science and particularly open methods, you will increase reproducibility. And let me remind you that this session is being recorded, and the slides and the recording will be shared with all registered participants. And in a push to increase transparency, accountability, and reproducibility, several organizations, including over 500 scientific journals, funding agencies, and educational and research institutions in 3 continents, support and promote the use of protocols.io. Now, let me give you a taste of how the platform looks like and how its different tools allow you to do everything I listed before. Organize and preserve your work, collaborate, save time, increase your reproducibility, impact, and credit. So protocols.io, the platform, has 3 main sections. It has the workspaces, the file manager, and the editor. And I will explain in the next few slides how they work and relate to each other by using a simple cartoon. So the workspace is where everything happens. It is in this space that you create protocols, organize your work, and collaborate with others. The workspace has a folder that is organized by the file manager. And in the file manager, you can use the editor to create protocols. During my explanation of the 3 features, I will be moving back and forth between them. So if you go to our website, what you see on the screen right now is the landing page. You can create an account if you have not done so already and log in. You can also log in by using Orchid, Facebook, or Google. And once you start a session, the system will ask you to create your first workspace. It will also ask you if you want to invite anybody to join that workspace. But this step, the second step, is not compulsory. Once in the workspace, you will have access to its folder and the file manager, which is now empty because this workspace is new. To the left, you will have access to the workspace administration menu, and to create a new protocol, you have to select the new button, which will take you to the editor. The file manager will eventually contain, display, and organize the protocols and other documents that you have created within this workspace. The file manager supports any file type. It helps you archiving, auditing, and exporting because it can connect to Dropbox, OneDrive, and Google Drive. And it has been designed with enterprise-grade security and backup functionality. The editor, which is the tool to create the protocols, has detailed components, a granular editing history that allows all changes to be reverted. It also allows concurrent editing by two or more collaborators, the same way two or more people can work simultaneously on a Google document. The protocol itself is written, as I showed you before, in a step-by-step format, and different sections of the protocol can be coded in different colors. Now, going back to the workspace, this is the space for collaboration. You can invite anyone to join your workspace. It can be a student or postdoc, another faculty member within the same institution, or external collaborators. To invite a collaborator, you go to the administration menu of the workspace, select Manage Members, and by typing their email address, you can invite people to join this workspace for method development. You can make your workspace public, meaning it will be searchable and people can request to join, or you can make it completely private, which is the default setting. You can also manage the privileges that the members of your workspace will have, and you can limit what they can do, such as inviting other members or sharing or deleting files from the workspace folder. Workspace members can comment on the protocols you have created and share with them, or ask questions using the comment functionality that I showed you before. They can also make changes to the protocols. And as I mentioned before, there is a detailed log of all implemented changes, which can be reverted if needed. The members of a workspace can also create their own protocols in the file manager, or make a copy of an existing protocol and optimize it for their own needs. And the platform allows you to compare two versions of the same protocol. In this case, this protocol has 3 versions, and I'm going to be comparing version 2 to version 1. And the platform automatically highlights the changes between these 2 versions of the same protocol. And even if a member of your workspace leaves, because, for example, a student graduates, the protocols remain organized, up to date, and available in the file manager. You can also select to print your protocol or export it as a PDF. So this is a private protocol, and I can select to export it directly to the printer or transform it into a PDF to send it to my computer or any of these cloud-based drives. If I select to create a PDF, this is a long protocol, but you can see the PDF. It starts with the introduction, some notes, reference, and eventually I get to the steps of the protocol. And I can choose to download this PDF to my computer or send it directly to the printer. So I could have a hard copy next to me in my bench while I'm doing my experiment. However, as I showed you before, you can also run the protocol directly in your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can collaborate beyond your workspace by sharing your protocols with specific people via email or by publishing them. You can either share or publish. To share your protocol, you select the protocol that you want to share, click the share button, and you can search it, you can share it specifically with people by typing their email address. And once you have shared this document with your collaborators, you can select what they can do with the protocol. Just view it, edit, or publish it. And publishing a protocol is also very easy. You select the protocol that you want to publish, you click the publish button, and you just have to complete 6 steps before making the protocol public and fully searchable. Publishing the protocol will assign to it a DOI and will allow anyone with an internet connection to search for it and to access it. It will also create a lock that will not allow further changes to the protocol. So a public published protocol is not editable anymore. A published protocol with an assigned DOI is a citable object that can be referenced to in a paper, giving credit to the author's methodological work. The reference will also be linked to the detailed protocol in protocols.io, so the reader have access to the interactive step-by-step protocol, even if the paper was published behind a paywall, because all our content is public, is open access. Once the protocol is published, any reader can create a new fork or editable copy and modify it according to their needs. But the platform has a memory that will link any copied protocol to the original one. In this way, the line of credit is preserved. So in this example, this is a protocol that is a modified version of an original protocol created by somebody else. The platform tells us that this protocol was forked from another protocol, which the reader can access by following the link. Thus, the liner's credit is preserved, and the authors who created and those who optimized the protocol received credit. And the reader has access to the history of evolution of the protocol. Now, protocols.io has established a partnership with Plus One, whereby you can submit from the platform a novel protocol for peer review and eventual publication in this journal, in Plus One, as a special article called Lab Protocol. The published lab protocol in Plus One will be bidirectionally linked to the interactive and dynamic protocol in protocols.io. And the protocol in protocols.io receives additional badges indicating that this method has been peer-reviewed. Now, going back to the workspaces, you can create multiple workspaces in your account, depending on your research and teaching needs. You can create workspaces for different research projects or to teach different courses. Each workspace can have different members and contain different protocols and documents, giving you great flexibility for organization. However, I appreciate that you might be thinking that you already have created protocols in a different format, and they are either a PDF or a Word document. So in this part of my presentation, I will do a short demo to show you how you can bring existing protocols into the platform. I will start with the easiest way and move up to the more complex and sophisticated way to bring your protocols into the platform. So the first way to bring protocols into the platform is just take them from your hard drive and drag them into the file manager. So to do that, I will stop sharing my screen for a moment. I will reshare the screen. And I will open my hard drive. So in my hard drive, you can see that I have a few protocols in different formats. I have Word document, Apple Pages, a PDF, and a text document. I can open my file manager. I have created a special folder for this presentation, which is now empty. And I can just take my protocols and drag them to the file manager. So very easily, I have transferred my protocols to protocols.io. I can share this protocol with any collaborator the way I showed you before. However, because these are not protocols, these are documents in their original format, these protocols are not publishable. I don't have the option to publish these protocols. I'm going to show you a second way to create very easily publishable protocols out of any of these documents. To do that, I'm going to go to the editor, create a new protocol. Now, because this is a protocol itself, I can add a title. I can add an abstract. And now the easiest way to create a publishable protocol is to attach the protocol to this empty protocol. So I go to Add Attachment. I select the protocol that I want to attach. And the protocol has been attached. Now, if I go to the viewer to view my protocol, I can see that it has a title, it has an abstract, and the protocol itself is attached as a PDF. I can share this protocol, but also I can publish it now. However, because the protocol is an attachment, it is not an interactive and dynamic document. So I'm going to show you now a third way to create dynamic and interactive protocols out of existing protocols in a different format. I go back to the editor, and this way doesn't work for PDF, but it works for text and Word documents. So there is a function. I don't know if it's too small for you to see, but it says here, if you have an existing protocol, you can insert steps from a text file. I can click it. I can select the protocol that I want to import. You can see this protocol is a text document. It has a title, has the authors, the abstract, and the steps here. So I can take the steps that I want to import, just copy them, paste them here, and the steps now in my text document have been transformed into the steps of my protocol. Because the protocol has now steps, it is an interactive and dynamic comments that accepts, document that accepts comments. I can post a comment here. And I can run it from the computer or tablet the way that I showed you before. So I covered these 3 ways in which you can create protocols out of an existing document. And there's a 4th way, which is the import service that we offer. So if you go to protocols.io, we enter protocol, you can send us your protocols in any format, and our team of editors will create the dynamic interactive protocols on your behalf. This service has a cost, but if you belong to an institution that has an institutional partnership with protocols.io, this service is free. So I hope that I have conveyed enough information to persuade you that protocols.io helps you stay organized, collaborate efficiently, save time, increase your impact, and get credit. Now, before we finish, I want to show you, because I was unable to share with you all the information and show you all the tools that we have, that you can get further training. And one way of doing that is go to protocols.io/webinars, which will take you to the list of webinars that we offer regularly. There are 3 topics that are organized by time zone. So you can find the topic that you want to attend, find your time zone, and register. And if you scroll further down, you will see the list of upcoming webinars. We also have a series of pre-recorded tutorials, and there is a link in which you can request a one-to-one demo. In these demos, you will talk to one of our specialists, you will be able to share your screen, they can share their screen, and have a very interactive discussion about any question that you might have regarding the platform. And with that, I will be happy to take any questions, which you can type either in the chat or in the Q&A window. Any questions? So I will turn off the recording in case somebody wants to ask a question of the record.